I have an article from Wikipedia. This is titled the Wikipedia Articles for Deletion, Killing of Irina Zarutska. Now, why would this be nominated for deletion? So the article discussing Irina Zarutska's killing was nominated for deletion, and up until just now, it was facing deletion until users came in and said, what the? No, you can't delete this. This is absolutely wild. So the way it works, for those not familiar on Wikipedia, is that you'll go in, it's a nomination for deletion, and then you will add your 2 cents. Keep the article, you'll write keep. If you want to delete it, you'll say delete and explain why. What's absolutely amazing about this is that while there are many people saying keep, it's kind of ridiculous to delete a massive news story. Here's one. Let me read this. Delete. There may be a case for a very small mention under links blue line controversies, but this is a standard wrong place, wrong time story that if it was a regular Charlotte resident would have the standard short arrest, arraignment, trial, and sentencing check-ins by Charlotte's local news and no more. The document every crime ever side of, Wikipedia really needs to make better judgments. There are numerous delete unless significant notable coverage is derived outside of a generic run-of-the-mill crime content. This is blah, blah, blah. Delete. There is zero indication that this specific article is anywhere near getting the requirements for WP an event, national event. There are people in social media and other venues who are trying to make this into something far greater than it really merits. Let me just tell you what they're saying. What they're saying by trying to delete this article is, if the people say this story is massive, delete it until the corporate press agrees. They're basically saying you, the people, don't have a right to decide what matters to you and what is worthy of entrance into the archives. When the New York Times writes it up, whether anyone cares, it gets its own article. Quite literally, a guy at the New York Times can write the stupidest article about things you don't care about, and they will say, national event. But when tens of millions of views, hundreds of thousands of retweets, conversations for days at the national and international level are hitting social media, they say, yeah, but CNN didn't write about it, so delete it. That's the narrative machine right there.
That right there is the story. The non-story is part of the story. The fact that it's so big online, and then there's radio silence on mostly all the major platforms, that is a huge thing. It's not like just a one-off thing for the dude. Like I said earlier, guy was arrested many times, and he was saying he was a totally schizophrenic guy, saying he had man-made implants in him.
His mother was saying that she put him away.
Right.
And his mother was like, he shouldn't have been out.
Right.
Like,
it's a huge story. No matter who writes about it or not.
But the reason the left doesn't, or one of the reasons why the left doesn't want to cover it, is because of how many of their narratives it destroys.
Oh yeah.
Right. The right wants to see more mental institutions, wants to see, better ways to take care of violent people, whether they be, criminals or whether they be just in some kind of, mental institution, for lack of a better term. And this plays right into that. And so the left doesn't want to talk about it. The right says that there's an epidemic of crime. There's too much crime. The left says, no, it's fine. This plays right into it. The right says that we need DAs and we need judges that are actually going to put people away. And the left says, no, we don't. We need restorative justice, etc. This plays right into the right. The left doesn't want to touch this at all. And the reason is because it literally blows up all of their narratives.
It would be like a parent who trans their kid trying to accept that was the bad thing to do.
Yeah,
because they've been selling this narrative the whole time. And look how quick these ghoulish journalists are willing to stand on top of any other corpse, right? But this one they'll just ignore until it goes away. But it won't.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just a huge containment breach, like you're saying, because, I mean, for the longest time, like you were saying, is anytime you would start sniffing around, data and these sorts of things, they would just shout you down, call you racist. Brian Stelter comes out, does the whole song and dance. But like, it's gotten to the point now where, Fox News are having to cover this. I mean, it's like, it's time to have a conversation.
Will Kane show doing here's interracial crime stats.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, pendulum swing.
3 years ago, you get banned like as an anon for him.
Do you think that Gen Z is intimidated by being called racist anymore? I feel like there's not a lot of people in Gen Z that care. I mean, there's a lot of people on the right that are kind of over it and just like, I don't care what you call me because you're going to call me that anyways. If you can get accused of being a racist for wearing the wrong kind of hairstyle, You know, it kind of has diluted the accusation almost totally. And I think that
Part of it's that, but also because Gen Z has nothing to lose because of how broken the institutions are, where like if you're older and you get fired from your job or you know, socially ostracized, like that's going to wreck your life. But Gen Z is already unemployed and socially ostracized. So part of it too is just they feel like they have nothing to lose. They understand what the weight of the racism label means, but to a large degree, they're like, I don't care. I care about truth. I'm not worried about Brian Stelter calling me a racist.
But you do have nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's what
Gen
I'm
Z
saying.
women don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
You're not going to own a house.
Yeah.
Good luck finding a job. Population's collapsing. We got the last chapter out of Nam, buddy.
Yeah, real. Yeah. So
Congrats.
it's like, yeah, so we shouldn't be surprised. And then, yeah, the media, you know, everything. It's like, no, we go to Twitter for information anyway. Like I'm not, whether or not there's a Wikipedia article, that doesn't mean anything to me because I don't use Wikipedia for information. It's like you're looking at the discussion on Twitter in real time. And it's very important people as well. It's not just like random anons like it used to be.
I have a question for everyone around the table. Who do you think is worse, the moderators on Reddit or the people that are writing Wikipedia articles?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
But
Phil.
that's a trick question. They're the same group.
Same people.
Yeah.
You're probably right. Yeah.
It's the hall monitors have grown up, and that's what they.
Oh, dude, Reddit is just absolutely hilarious.
Reddit is taking down posts about this like mad right now.
If you comment on certain subreddits, even in opposition, and like there are certain gaming subreddits where you'll say something like, "I'm not a fan of this game," you'll get instantly banned from a whole bunch of other on it, like just non-political subreddits because the moderators are like, anybody on the right or who interacts is unpersoned. That's how insane and stupid Reddit is. What good riddance.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're seeing black people who are like, we should have a conversation as a community about how bad violent crime's getting. You're seeing them get banned, and they're the ones that are saying, no, we're saying we need to have an internal conversation about what's going on. So it's like it's literally just shut this down, get this out of the news cycle, whatever we have to do. It doesn't even matter if you're banning like left-leaning black people for having the conversation.
This was, I think, like the first time one of the major national liberal outlets wrote about it.
Yeah.
Stabbing video fuels MAGA's crime message, to which their principal argument is the video is easily shared or leaked and can instantly pollinate across social media, a visual counterpoint to statistics showing crime decreases. So let me just point out real quick. When these corporate news outlets decide something is a story and write about it, they did not have a grassroots bubbling up of a story. This stabbing happened several weeks ago. And it took a while for people to notice, get mad about it, start sharing it, start saying to each other like, hey, guys, we should be talking about this because it wasn't coming from the principal large corporate disseminators of information. But the fascinating thing about this is Axios. How about this? I go to Axios. Let's see what they think is worthy of news. Coming soon, the Axios show. Okay, to be fair, telling people who read your website about your own news show is something. But I'm going to make this argument. I'm going to play the same game as Axios. That's not news. Axios is leveraging their website to profit off of an audience trying to find out information on a murder. The funny thing is when they write that MAGA is using and sharing videos. What? Yes, it's called the news.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're acting like Trump supporters. It's not even just Trump supporters. Did something wrong for being like, I am concerned about this murder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the Republicans' pounce. When you don't have, when the story blows up your narrative so badly, the only thing you have left is to say, look, the Republicans are bad for talking about this.
Here's what they think is bigger news. Kushner joins Witkoff to meet Netanyahu advisor on Gaza.
Super big news.
Sure. I mean, it's not news, but my point is this. A woman is brutally murdered for no reason, and the man has a blade dripping with blood as she dies in front of a crowd. And they're like, but advisors are meeting. And that's the game. I'm not saying that this is not important news. Of course, it's important news. But the idea that Axios would play the game, that individuals sharing video make something that shouldn't be news, you just arbitrarily decide when you think something should be on your front page, you hypocrites.
I also think, to your Gen Z point, that the reason this really jumped off is in an era where everything is racist, nothing is racist, and they just don't care. It's kind of impressive seeing this newer generation. They just don't care. They see that, they know something's wrong, and so they just push it out. And it's great.
It's the syndrome meme. When everyone is racist, no one will be.
Yeah.
And that's Instagram right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like Gen Z on Instagram is just They're just as racist as they could possibly be. I've never seen a more
imagine-
racist generation.
5 years ago, they were told they were racist for not posting a black square on Instagram. You know, so it's gonna go the other way.
I think part of it is the fact that like the Black Lives Matter narrative has been so utterly destroyed, right? Whether it be the results of having police have body cameras all the time.
Yeah.
You see so many interactions with police where the person would be saying, "Oh, I was, they were racist, blah blah blah." But you see, these interactions with the police are doing their best to do their job, and they get attacked.
And that was supposed to change the game. We were supposed to know, because now they have these body cams. The data didn't change, even though they all now have these body cams.
Sean Fitzgerald had the best take on this. He said, "This is the ultimate monkey's paw wish," because Black Lives Matter said, we want to get body cams. We know we'll prove these cops are racist. We'll prove these cops are tracking down young black men and killing them, blah, blah, blah. They got exactly what they wanted, and it proved the exact opposite of what they said. And it's something that everyone has known for a long time, or at least the statistics, the FBI has known. The statistics have been there. Basically, it's about 12 to 15 unarmed black men are killed a year when interacting with the police. Now, that doesn't mean that they were doing what the police says. It doesn't mean that they were complying with the orders. It just means that they were unarmed and they ended up dead with an interaction with the police.
I'd like to say that the ultimate monkey's paw wish was the leftists taking the paw and saying, "I wish that this country had a racial awakening."
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, 100%. A whole bunch of white people are like, "Let's have a conversation about the racism."
This is exactly what the argument that we were making or at least I was making when people were talking about CRT. CRT, critical race theory, literally awakens a critical racial consciousness in the people. When you teach people, there's going to be that kind of mindset to see the world in that way. There's going to be a certain percentage of the people that are going to say, "Okay, I see this, and I don't care. I don't feel bad. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not going to hate myself or my friends or my family because they're the wrong color."
I want to point this out real quick. On Google, I searched New York Times, Irina Zurutska, AI overview. As of September 8th, 2025, there is no evidence the New York Times has published a story specifically about Irina Zurutska. This has become a point of controversy and criticism with some media commentators and conservative news outlets. Other news outlets have covered the story. New York Times doesn't care. They could write it up. They just don't care. It's remarkable. What they're telling you is they decide what the narrative will be, not you. Well, I think we're winning this one. We're changing the game.
Yeah. Well, like Phil, it's like you were talking about where you're seeing with Zoomers, our reaction to this. It's like, because we grew up, I'm 24, so I grew up, the Michael Brown, all that stuff happens. I'm a teenager. And then as I'm matriculating into adult life, the BLM riots are going on in 2020, and you see that. But then you live somewhere like Memphis, and you look around and see where the violent crime is happening and by who. And you're sitting there like, okay, who's being victimized here in American society? Is it black men by police officers, or is it like white men and women just trying to ride the train? And it's like, you're supposed to, you're not supposed to believe your lying eyes or whatever. And it's like, yeah. And then you get on Instagram and people are expressing like, no, I think who's being victimized by who is completely, the priorities are completely out of whack.
Yeah, I mean, the stats we ran them at the beginning of the show, 500 and something thousand.
Yeah.
White people are victimized by black people, and something like
92,000.
92,000 black people.
462% higher.
Yeah.
Black on white than white on black.
But we're burning cities down for like what, 12?
It's white liberals doing it.
Yeah, that too as well. Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.